India has expelled a senior Canadian diplomat based in India. The Canadian High Commissioner to New Delhi was summoned to convey that a senior diplomat needs to leave India in 5 days. The much-anticipated move comes as a countermeasure to Canada expelling a senior Indian diplomat. And to discuss this and more and what it means for Canada and India, joining me now is former Indian diplomat Ambassador Anil Trigunayath. Ambassador, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Right. Ambassador, how do you view this new development? India has made its stand very clear. It has called these allegations absurd.
Well, indeed, these allegations are fabricated and absurd. There have been, as you must have seen, the statements of both the foreign minister as well as the prime minister. They are just talking of potential. That means a hypothesis, a theory has been created, and now they want to justify it somehow. Now, that is something in response to what Prime Minister Modi had clearly said and consistently. For the last 4 decades, India has been asking Canada to rein in these extremists and terrorists who are thriving there under the political patronage. And so this is something that he's probably done it to assuage his constituency, which unfortunately is supported by the extremist elements.
Right.
And therefore, expelling an Indian diplomat naturally required a robust response, and the response is reciprocity. And therefore, Indian government has rightly decided, while criticizing the comments made by Prime Minister Trudeau.
Right, and this was actually a topic that was discussed at the G20 also once the Canadian Prime Minister sat down with Prime Minister Modi. India since beginning has made its stand on Khalistani terrorism very clear, and for Canada to now say, for the foreign minister to now say that we will protect Canada's sovereignty. How do you view that statement?
Well, I mean, the problem is that they need to understand what sovereignty is actually all about. From their soil, they are allowing these Khalistani referendums to take place. They are allowing Khalistani extremists and terrorists to operate against India. They are overlooking the Kanishka crash, what happened many years ago. They are also overlooking the connections that these extremists have with Pakistani groups. In fact, the Prime Minister himself, when he came here for the official visit, came up with along with a person who is of dubious credentials along with him and happens to be Sikh extremist. So this is the problem with them, is that duplicity and double standards are very important. When Prime Minister took up, he said, made a statement, this is because of the democracy and all that rights. What are the rights, I mean, they're talking about when these people are indulging in the separatist activities, the terrorist activities across India? So I think that it is a very myopic approach. And unfortunately, in my view, this is all the Trudeau legacy. And as long as his father did the same and he refused to even extradite in 1982, somebody called Balwinder Parmar, who was very much required on a very lame excuse. And this time they are even refusing to acknowledge. And our diplomats have been threatened there. You have seen it. The Indira Gandhi's, the depiction on the tableau in one of the parades was heinous, actually, to say the least. So there have been not one, but many incidents where they have been insincere and not at all cognizant of India's sovereignty and other concerns, and have taken no credible action whatsoever. Absolutely. And today, just talking about some potential links and whatnot.
WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.